Good afternoon, YouTube. Sorry I hadn't posted in a while, but everything's been busy, everything's been crazy between the virus and the work and everything else. And got a new project I'm fixing to start working on. Thought I would share some of the stuff that I'm going to do to it. So anyway, we purchased a little John boat right here. It's a 12-footer, all aluminum. It is a rivet. It's not all welded boat. It's in decent shape. Trailer's a little rusty. Boat's a little scratched and a little beat up, but I think it'll be a nice little budget build. See what we can do with this. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little casting deck in the front, and we're going to raise the front seat on a higher pedestal. We're going to put a floor in the center, carpet it. This is just going to be a boat to use in like John boat, tournament fishing, private ponds, everything else, and just having a good time, just me and my son fishing. This is going to be a budget build. I'm going to try to keep this as cheap as possible, and I'm going to share my experience and hopefully save you all a little money, save you all a little trouble. This will be my first aluminum John boat budget build I've ever done. So hey, I'll be learning as we go, trying to keep the money down and the budget down. So I think this will be a good video for y'all to get some ideas of what to do. You might get some ideas of what not to do. But anyway, you got a good view of the boat. It's nothing fancy. It's old, and I think it's going to be a pretty nice little project. We're going to do it step by step. Do a casting deck first, get some trolling motors put on it. For now, we're going to set it up all electric. I have a gas-powered 5-horsepower engine. We may put it on there and try it out. We may not. And right now it's going to be all electric. We're just going to get us a live well installed. We're going to get the trailer painted. We're going to get a casting deck put in it, some carpet put in it. We're going to go try it out, see what we like about it, see what we don't like about it, and go from there. So this is step one. This was well, speaking of it as a budget build. So when I say a budget build, we're gonna make this real cheap. We're gonna do a nice two-man fishing out, a nice two-man fishing setup, and we're gonna try to do that for under $1,000. That's registration, carpet, motors, boat, trailer, everything. We got a good start on it. This was a Facebook find, Facebook Marketplace. I know that this was a little bit cheaper than what it should have been, but we ended up purchasing this boat with the trailer, and it already had new tires and wheels on the trailer for $250. So that was a heck of a find. That was a heck of a good deal, and that'll give us a real good start to our budget. So I will get started on it, and let's see what happens. Okay, YouTube. First part of the boat build. It's going real good. We just got it all stripped, got all the bolts, got all the screws out of it. Most of all this stuff was rusted and corroded. Something terrible. I mean, just awful. So we just took a simple angle grinder, ground the bolt heads off, knocked everything out, we got it cleaned up, and now we're ready to start the next part. So just be patient, I'll get back to you. All right, next little update on the little John boat. We've got a casting deck put in, real simple. Try to do it as light as possible. This is just a Academy cooler, and it's just been cut down the right height for the deck board to go right over top of it. We got to water seal these boards. I'm using severe weather plywood on top. It's already treated, but I'm gonna go ahead and water seal them too before I carpet it. Anyway, just want to get you a quick look of this, just where you'd have an idea of how simple it could be. This took a little over an hour, just because I didn't know exactly where I was putting doors and what I was doing and everything else. And not saying do it this way, just some ideas. Get back with you in a little while for the next update. All right, YouTube, next stage in the boat. We've got the front deck put in. Academy cooler down there for a live well. Front hatch just for storage. We've got it all screwed down, put in place, braced up real good. I walked on it, tested it, made sure it was going to be pretty strong. You know, I'm not a light guy, so I wanted to, you know, hold a good bit of weight. Cut the doors a little bit smaller because you want to tuck the carpet around the material. You need to have room for hinges and have room for it to open and close without it being in a bind. So just want to show you this. Want to point out that every board is glued together plus screwed together. Every joint is as tight as I could get it. It's not perfect, but it's just the boat deck. It's treated lumber on top. All the untreated lumber gets sprayed with anything from polyurethane. If you don't have that, you can paint it, whatever, just to water seal it. It can be clear, colored, it does not matter. Now we're going to cut a piece of carpet. We're going to go ahead and try to carpet this. Then we're going to carpet the doors, put some hinges on it, and see what we can do as far as fit and finish right here. And then we will get back with you and let you know. One little tip, after all the sawing, beating and banging and getting it all to fit right, make sure before you put your carpet glue down, first of all, make sure you use outdoor carpet glue, something that's going to stand up in the rain and the weather elements. But before you do that, take a blower, doesn't matter what kind, blow it off as good as you can, get all the sawdust, all the chips and shavings off the boat or off the deck. That way you don't have anything interfering with your glue setting up. Okay, be right back with the next step. All right, next little step. We got some carpet on the deck. On the casting deck, at least. We still got to do the floor in the boat, but we got to put some handles. It's just as simple as that. Over here, get you a picture of the live well. And so the biggest thing was to take your time, cut your carpet right. And I don't know if I mean, like I said, this is not a pro tip, nothing like that. I'm just doing a budget build for my own personal boat. This carpet was a flea market find, brand new roll, 16 foot long. I believe it was 20 bucks. Got enough to do the rest of the boat, or as much of it as I want. The hinges came from Lowe's, the lumber came from Lowe's. I had some glue. I had to buy flooring adhesive for it, but I spent right about 100 bucks on the lumber, which was the plywood, the few 2x4s. I had some outdoor wood glue and I bought some flooring adhesive. And I had various screws, nuts, and bolts and stuff like that, so I didn't have to buy that. Saved me a little bit. So anyway, I'm at $250 for the boat, and I'm about $120 in for the deck. And now we're going to continue on. We got to do a bilge pump, a live well pump. We're going to put a floor in the main part of the boat here. Of course, I got to get all the junk out. But we got to mount the seats, the pedestals, put on a couple of motors, figure out which motors we're going to run, and go from there. I'll get back to you with the next step. All right, YouTube, for the next step, of course, we got the front deck in. I got a bunch of junk on it right now, but you already seen that. I'm going to floor the center, and instead of just running plywood from rib to rib and leaving this gap in the middle, I chose to use 1/2 inch thick green insulate board, doubled them up, cut a piece, 2 pieces for each section, glued them together, and I added an aluminum rail right here. This is just some scrap aluminum I found, screwed it to here, and that's just going to be for my plywood to set on. My plywood will get carpeted, and the same thing in the front. And that's that. I'll get the next step in just a second. Well, all right, we got the floor put in. We got the double foam under it. Got the severe weather plywood on top. I used these screws right here, basically self-perforating, self-tapping screw Phillip head bit, where it'll be flush under my carpet. We're gonna get some carpet put on it, and that'll be a wrap down here to the next step. Alrighty, next step in the boat. Can't remember where we were. We got carpet on the deck. We got a plate down here for extra thickness, extra support. Bolted this on, lock washers. We got an adjustable height seat. Seats not padded, nothing fancy, but it works for fishing. Live well right here, easy access. Front door, easy access. We were trying to figure out the trolling motor, how we wanted to do it. And what we came up with was a standard trolling motor, and we pulled the screw out from here, clocked the handle around so that, if you can see, so that, I call it the torpedo, is angled forward, and instead of the handle being over here, it's around there, so we can just click it on and put it the direction we want it to go. And we couldn't figure out a good way of mounting it, so I was fortunate enough to have this piece of aluminum angle that's nice rounded edges. So I just drilled the holes, countersunk my screws, and painted a board, just a 2x4 to match the color of the carpet, put it on the front just for thickness of the clamp of the trolling motor, so it would be well and secure. Then I went ahead and put the fish finder's filthy because it's been in the barn, but I went ahead and put my fish finder on here. It's screwed in place, and we've got the carpet. Look over the mess. I've got to clean it out. Still got work to do to it though. We've got carpet glued in, everything in the back. We got to put a few trim pieces on, and we just got a standard small 30-pound thrust trolling motor front and rear. And now the main thing that we got to do is clean it out, get the rear seat hooked up. We got to hook up the bilge pump, the aerator pump, wire the trolling motors. We've already pulled a wire from front to back for main power. And the boat will be just about ready. We got to put on navigation. We got to put on a navigation light. Get out of the sun. We got to put on the navigation light and the stern light and wire it all. Be ready to rock and roll. Till next time, I'll show you the next step as soon as I get to it. Okay, we pretty close to being finished with the little John boat. It's came out really nice for what I want, and I'm not telling you that this is the way to do it, or I'm not telling you that this is the right way. This is my way for my boat. Suits my needs, and that's it. Just ideas for you, sharing my experience. So we've got our casting deck and the raised floor, carpeted. It's filthy right now. I got to clean it. And seats, pedestals mounted, everything. Solar panel and battery charger over there just to keep you kind of sort of maintained while you're on the water. Nothing big, nothing fancy, just a 30-pound thrust Minn Kota. Should push us around on small water pretty easy. Back here, this boat had this aluminum box factory. It's nothing more than storage. I got a couple of things in there. Got to do some more work on that, but it's good enough to fish with right now. Battery back here. It's just a large Deep Cycle Marine battery. I had it around the shop. These PVC pipe are in there for a couple of different purposes. I'm going to mount my rod holders on the, I don't know if you can see it right here, on the side up here where they'll have somewhere to be out of the way. I just haven't got them mounted yet. But they also double as, if you're catfishing, you need a rod holder. That seems to work out pretty well so far. Don't know, I haven't used it, haven't fished it, so we'll find that out maybe tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. So I'll give you the breakdown of it. It's a pretty solid little boat. I'm getting it filthy with my muddy boots. But swivel seat back here. 30-pound thrust motor, Deep Cycle Marine battery, wires are all run under the floor. Swivel seat up here. Let's get set down right here. We've got a standard rear mount trolling motor. I explained this the other day that we reclocked the handle around, pulled the bolt out, reclocked the handle, pulled the cover off to make sure we weren't going to damage wires when we were doing it. Reclock the handle around so that we can basically just pull this tab right here and we can let her down, and then we've got everything's wired up, everything's working, and it's not going to be that aggravating to turn it on, point it in the direction you want to go, and be done with it. We got our fish finder. It's a pretty decent little Garmin. I used it on my old boat. Done a really good job. I like it. It's waterproof. We got our storage here. I've got different odd and end things down in there. A orange dry box with assortments of tools and parts for the boat and an extra trolling motor propeller. We got our switches for our lights and our switches for our live well. Get the camera turned around right here. You see our live well pump. It's working and doing its thing. I got a little bit of water in there just to test it. It's really comfortable as far as it being just a 12-foot boat. With that trolling motor, doesn't have a bracket or anything for the, you know, like a foot controlled trolling motor. So it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. And I think this boat is going to be, I think it's going to be perfect for what I want. And we're going to try it out, like I said, probably tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, or a little bit later in the week. Be the next video anyway, because I want to go fishing. And we'll see how it does. And hope y'all like the build. Oh, I was originally talking about this is going to be a budget build. Trying to do this for less than $1,000. So the floor and everything, all the framing of the floor. Now, I had through the work that I do, I have tools and I have various construction equipment, and I buy good deals when I see them, put them up in my shop and just use it for whatever. So it did save me some money. We got the boat, 250 bucks. I think was just stellar. The flooring, we did the whole thing with one sheet of plywood. The flooring, the hinges, the framing for the floor, everything came from Lowe's, and it was about 100, 109, 110 bucks, something like that. I had the fish finder, but this particular fish finder does a great job. And no, it doesn't have a 19-inch TV screen. It's not no $4,000 or $5,000 fish finder, but it's like 100 bucks. It does really good. I had the little scrap aluminum brackets and everything else, so that helped me out. The trolling motors are cheap. They're Minn Kota 30-pound thrust trolling motors, both of them. And they're about 100 bucks a piece. So I got $250 for the boat, say 100 bucks a piece for the trolling motors. That's $350, $450, $100 for the fish finder, $550. Of the flooring, everything in it, about a little over 100 bucks, 110, something like that. $650, $660. What else is there? Oh yeah, so I had the spare PVC pipe and I put that in. I already had the solar powered battery maintainer, but it's only like 30 bucks or so to buy. So we'll just go ahead and figure that. So that's $690. I went to Academy and I bought bilge pump, a live well pump, a cooler that I made my live well out of, bilge pump plumbing, these two new seats, adjustable front pedestal. What else? A paddle. Just a few things that I did not have anymore since I sold my last John boat. And it run me, I think it was about 140 bucks. These seats are not really fancy seats, but they're really comfortable. They get the job done. They're $9 a piece. I mean, you can't beat that. So, say I was $660, $130, $140 at Academy, $800 bucks, and we're under budget. Now I didn't spend that obviously because I had a good bit of this stuff, and but if you had to spend it, if you could find the deal on the boat and you had to spend the money, you'd be looking at, if you did this exact same thing, $800, and then you might as well figure another 100 or two for screws, glue, wire, connectors, fittings, nuts and bolts, hinges, that kind of stuff. So you could build this boat for right at $1,000 if you started out with a $250 boat. So, and I did, so I was fortunate on that. That helped out. I hope y'all like this video. I'm going to put it in the water, do a little fishing off of it, see what I do like and see what I don't like about it. And I'll upload a video of a little bit of action in the water, and hopefully I'll like everything. Hopefully it'll do well. I know it's not going to be fast. I mean, it's only going to move a couple of miles an hour. It's just with these small motors, don't expect to get out there and feel the wind blowing your hair. These motors are for nothing more than trolling, and that's all I'm going to do from the time it's in the water to the time I'm done. I hope you enjoy this video. I still have to paint it. Haven't done any painting yet because I'm undecided on the color or the color scheme or whatever I want to do. And if you got any suggestions on what color it needs to be, drop it in the comments. As always, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm not a boat channel. I'm here at Geared Frontier. It's a little bit of construction, it's a little bit of hunting, a little bit of fishing, a little bit of boats, a little bit of ATVs. Might blow some stuff up. We might repair some stuff. You never know. This is just life. So hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all.